Let me start by saying a real truth. I almost didn't record today. And then I realized I did not record a new video last week. And we're going to talk about why. And it's not because I don't have anything to say. I actually have so much to say. I just didn't know if I had the energy to say it in a way like I usually do, right? So maybe that's the point, because lately I've been looking at my life and thinking, I don't recognize the space that I'm in. I don't recognize the mindset that I'm in. I don't recognize the body that I'm in. And nothing is technically wrong. People will look at my life and be like, what are you talking about? Like you own a townhome, you have a great career, you're building a business. And so that's what kind of makes it all confusing, right? Because what's happening is my kids don't need me the same anymore, and I thought I'd be more prepared for that in this part of my life, right? As a matter of fact, I know most parents, we look forward to it, right? It's like, oh, my kids are going to be adults and they're going to go off and then I'm going to have this life. But the truth of the matter is I was not as prepared as I thought I would be. And so for years, my life had been structured around being needed, right? Their schedules, their games. If you've been around for a while, you know, I had a daughter who was a traveling all-star cheerleader. So we traveled all around the East Coast. I had another daughter who played softball, also travel, and then my son played baseball. And that's just the younger three, right? The older three, they didn't play sports, but I had been a parent since the age of 16. So you got to think about it, all the calls, the crisis, the laughter, the noise, and it was all overly exhausting because as I was raising my children, partly married, and then I got divorced, I was always, building some sort of business. So I taught fitness for 10 years on top of their schedules, on top of all the countless, I competed in powerlifting. So I was doing all the things, and I actually complained about being tired. It complained about all the money. All my cheer moms, you know this, all the money that I had spent, all the time, not feeling like I had enough time to do a lot of things. But it was so interesting. I was in like the best shape of my life during that time. I spent hours in the gym, and now it's quieter. It's so much quieter in my life. And I didn't realize how much of my identity and purpose was wrapped up into being needed every single day on some level. When your kids are little, you don't question who you are. I'm a mom, right? And that's enough. And for me, I was a mom, and I was a mom that was dead set on being a prime example for them. So that meant, I wasn't just going to settle in corporate America in the entry level job. I'm going to climb the ladder. I'm going to work my tail off. I'm going to build a business. I want to show them that all the things, right? I'm going to be an example for how people enter in and out my life. Like my kids never saw a bunch of men in and out my home and all this other stuff. And they may have seen me, like party, but not hard party like I did when they weren't around. If you know, you know, okay? This is BC. I always tell my kids this is BC. And what that means is before Christ. And don't get this twisted. Although I have found God, a girl still turns up. It's just in a little bit of a different way because I still am who I am, right? But there are some things that respectfully just don't do it for me anymore. So that's different. But now they're adults and they're good and they're building their lives. And I'm so proud of the adults that they are. But now I wake up and I'm like, okay, like, but who am I really? Like I was doing all those things before. I had my own life. People always say, you got to have your own life outside your kids. And I did that. But I still didn't realize how much was still wrapped into being needed every day. And, it was just, I had a routine and a schedule that just worked. And I know you're thinking, well, Cam is about to be, he's the baby, he's about to be 21. They've been adults for a minute. And don't forget, I started this at age 16. I just turned 50 in August. And, when all you've known for a period of your life is one thing, now that, I'm being called into something higher, into something bigger, it is really jarring and it can really shake you up, right? And so I used to know exactly how much of my day mattered. Now I just have space, and space sounds good until you're really sitting in it. And I'm not talking about this space like I don't have things to do. No, I'm talking about space that reminds you of the things that you didn't get to do yet. The space that says because you've been a mom for so long and now you're 50, you're behind in these things and your business should be doing this and you should be doing that. It is a lot. And no one talks about the moment when your life changes slowly and you don't even notice it happening. I promise you, it felt like a blink of my eye and the carpools were over. The group text, all the cheer moms that I was cool with, because you build your friendships even around, who they are around, and so, and then you wonder, you like one day you kind of wake up and everything is different. And there's nothing wrong with, keeping in touch with those people, but everything has changed now, and I've changed. And then it's like, man, when did this become my life? I didn't expect to feel the grief about a season that really exhausted me, but I do. And it's so the grief isn't just about that season. The grief is grieving the old parts of me that no longer fit into where I'm headed and what I'm doing right now. And it is it's a lot, if I'm being honest, because nobody talks about the body too, right? No, listen, nobody prepares you for what your body's, especially me. I taught fitness. I was powerlifting. I had, my body was clock it, abs everywhere. Abs is made in the kitchen. And those things didn't necessarily change for me, but my body changed on me. I woke up one day and everything felt unfamiliar. My energy, my mood, things that used to work for me didn't work anymore. I was always the insanity girl. So I did all the crazy Shaun T workouts, all of that. And now all of a sudden my body's like, we're not doing that and we can't do it. And if you force me into it, now you're going to feel like sad, lost, disconnected. And not only that, here's some extra weight for you too. And I'm not used to having that extra weight. Now, although in my fitness career, I started off, I was heavy. And so that was a part of my story. I had lost a lot of weight naturally, and worked my tail off to get to the size that I was, and especially my competing range. I was in the 148 pound weight class, right? So I prided myself on that, being the former 215 girl, took myself to that. And again, mentally, everything that I was able to take, willpower was real for me. I could will myself into anything. And then one day I woke up and my body was like, I don't know who you think you are, but you're not willing me into anything, right? And it's tough because when you used to things working a certain way and then you wake up and you're and they don't, and then you're still expected to show up the same way. And this is why I wanted to make this video, because we're expected to show up professional, composed, and do things in high capacity. I get that. So what do? Same thing I probably did. Get the therapist, take the courses, invest in yourself, read the books, build the business. You keep becoming, going. But sometimes I sit to myself and think, what becoming what? And so what I don't want to do is what I used to do. And so what I used to do when things would hit me and grief would hit me, and if you go back a few videos, you'll see that I also put that I'm going through a breakup. And so when things would happen in my life before, I had my kids. And so I was able to keep busy. And what I didn't realize is in that busyness, I was not healing. So it was before, let me tell y'all something, because you see these videos and they like, just let go, just move on. Say what now? Like, like I don't know anyone who's going through a breakup, whether they initiated the breakup or someone initiated with them, who does not want to be like, yo, I just want to, be over this and I want to move forward. But telling people just let go makes no sense to people who want to let go. It is, something, my mentor, Evangelist Latrice Ryan, I love her to death because she really helped me in this season, because I also used to think like that. I used to be like, just get over it. I didn't realize I wasn't getting over it. I was burying it. I was burying it behind my busy. So it looked like I was getting over something quick, like my divorce and, all the deaths that happened, me burying my two sons, all of that, going through everything that I went through. It looked like I was healing and bossing up. But the truth was that I was dealing and suppressing down. And so now I'm in this season where I don't have all of those things anymore, and I refuse to get busy in it. I refuse to do that to myself. Now I really want to heal. And so that means making space to feel your feelings. And it's a lot because we're talking about feeling my feelings at a time in my life where I'm going through perimenopause. So on top of my body not being the same, on top of my mental not being the same, on top of my spiritual not being the same, I'm grieving old parts of me that don't fit anymore. I'm grieving, a relationship that, I truly love this person. And, for the first time, I'm being really honest, for the first time, I know that sounds bad, I was all in. Before you'd have been like, wait, you were married. You weren't all in. No, I was always a 1 foot in, 1 foot out person, if I'm being honest, because I was trying to protect myself. I was trying to protect myself from hurt and pain. And another way that I was protecting myself was I was always getting busy, being busy, doing busy, and never allowing myself to really heal what was happening in my life. There was times when I did and I would heal certain things, but there were certain parts of me that I just wouldn't touch. It was almost like that was Pandora's box. And so now that I'm becoming this another version of myself, it's like, the roles are shifting, my body is shifting, my friendships are shifting, and it's like a strange in between where you're not who you were, but I'm not fully who I'm also all the way becoming, right? And these are the things that I teach women. So I teach women at the level that I go. Do not get this twisted, right? I'm not teaching somebody this next level and I haven't reached that next level pinnacle yet. However, I teach where I have accomplished. And so I get where I am, but I also get that it's disorienting because I've never been here before. And when you've never been in a place in your life before, if you've never been 50 before, you've never been 45 before, you've never been 35 before, you don't know what you don't know. And then you're listening to all these people just telling you what to do and how to do it, and it's not working. And what's happening is you're starting to think something's wrong with you. Well, what's wrong with me that I just can't get over him? Or what's wrong with me? I just can't get over her. What's wrong with me? I just can't move on. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Miracles are instant. Grieving is a process. That's what my mentor taught me. I'm so thankful for her. Miracles, especially for my Jesus girl. Oh, just call on the Lord. Just read the word. Just journal. Just, meditate. Kumbaya, my Lord. Just speak it and it shall be. All of that's very true. And you still gonna have to go through that grieving process, boo. You still gonna have to go through it. And it's gonna feel like depression. It's gonna feel like hurt. It's gonna feel like I don't know where I am. It's gonna feel like I don't want to get out the bed in the morning. It's gonna feel like I don't want to talk to nobody. It's gonna feel like I don't want to listen to nobody. It's gonna feel like a whole bunch, but you know what it is? It's an adjustment. It's a recalibration. That's why I showed up today. I showed up today to let women know that some days you're going to feel like the boss babe. Some days you're going to feel like, oh my God, especially when you hit that perimenopause phase. Some days you're going to feel like this grief is overtaking me. Some days you're going to feel all these different mix of emotions. And what you can't do in those moments is get on social media and listen to these podcast people who haven't walked a mile in your shoes. They're only teaching you from a place of hurt in their life. And they didn't just wake up and say, I'm going to let it go and let it go. That's not the truth. Nobody just does that. And then I love what's the lady with the let them theory, Mel, I think it's Mel Robbins, and she talked about it too. She was like, yeah, people just tell you let go, and they leave your life, and you got to let them, and you got to go on a 30-day detox, ma'am. Don't tell me about going on a 30-day detox when you've been married for how many years, ma'am? That don't work. When you truly love somebody, you can go 30 days and don't look at the pictures and don't reach out to them. And if you really love somebody, that don't mean in 30 days ago you're going to leave. No, it's just not reality. And I want people to, if you're rocking with me, one thing for certain, two things for sure, I'm going to lead by example and I'm going to teach the truth. And the truth is it's a process, baby. It's a process. And allow yourself to go through the process. And it's okay that in the process, you're going to cry. In the process, you're not going to feel like doing a lot of things. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Keep walking through the process. And I'm going to tell you what I'm doing to help myself through the process too. But I just want to talk about this because I think grief for a version of your life that quietly ended. And what I mean by quietly, like I literally woke up one day and I was like, wait a minute, nobody died, nothing exploded. like, but something happened. Like, what happened? All of a sudden, it was like, I'm just not me anymore. And I realized that was my hormones. And then I went and I got on hormone replacement therapy, and I'm taking progesterone to help myself, right? I'm doing the things to help myself, but it's all an adjustment. Your body, when you start doing those things, it's not just going to be instantaneous. It's not going to just turn everything around. But here's what I want you to know. It's still growth. And growth is very, very uncomfortable. And if you allow yourself to grow through this and don't quit in the process on yourself, I promise you on the other side is going to be better. And you're going to say, well, how do you know you're not on the other side yet? I've been on the other side many, many times. My life, my testimony is proof that every time I got to a stage when I didn't know what was happening to me, I didn't know what I was feeling, how I was feeling, I didn't know what was going on. I just felt like I was in the middle of a hallway, and the hallway was like dark and clammy. I couldn't see any other doors. I couldn't see doors of opportunity. I just couldn't see my way out. And as I walked through the process different ways back then, and I came on the other side, everything was better. And I was better as a result of walking through it, right? So here's what I'm learning, and I'm really learning as I'm living this too, because I want to say this. You can be grateful and unsettled at the same time. People are like, oh, you just got to get grateful for your life. Do you think that I'm not grateful? I am so grateful. I'm grateful to God every day that I wake up. I love the Lord. And let me give my disclaimer. I'm not here to tell you who and what you should not believe in. That is not my place. However, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ has saved me many a day. So I'm going to always speak his name. You can speak whoever you believe in. And I think that's beautiful and okay for you. Please know there's no judgment over here. Okay. First of all, I'm walking through my healing process, so I don't have time to judge you. Okay. But we get in this place where you should just feel grateful. I wake up grateful every day. That still doesn't mean that I'm not going through something. It still doesn't mean that my body is shifting in ways that I never saw coming. It still doesn't mean that, I'm grateful for everything that I have. And it still doesn't mean that I want something better for my life. It still doesn't mean that I don't want to be in a different place or space. It can be both, and two things can be true. And I need you to know that today, because people are not telling people that. And then they're walking around still. And because what happens is, especially if you're a high achiever, you're beating yourself up thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just be grateful? Why can't I just show up at the job? Why can't I just do what everybody on the internet is saying to do? Why does the advice not work for me? It's not working for you because you're not them. It's not working for you because that's not the season you're in. It's not working for you because, at the end of the day, your journey, your process has to be different. That's why I always say there's no true gurus in the world. There are people who can tell you what they've been through, what they're walking through, how they're walking through it. And you can use those things to help you. And you also have to get still and quiet enough to hear your God speak to you, to know what you need in your season. I'm going to tell you, yesterday I wasn't feeling it, and it was just a day. And I clearly heard the Holy Spirit tell me, go read Ephesians 6:11, and talked about putting on the full armor of God. And let me tell you what the full armor of God looks like for me this season, because every season it was different. Before, the full armor of God looked like for me going to that gym, lifting them weights. And I was like, I'm the best of the best, and I'm this and I'm that. That's what it meant. In this season, putting on the full armor of God looked like me turning on praise and worship music and just singing to the Lord. It looked like me going outside. It looked like me driving around in my car. It looked like me riding past my old homes, the first home that I built when I moved to Pennsylvania. This after I got divorced, I had to rent because my credit score took a hard hit. And I went and rode past the place that I rented for a little while before I came home to the place that I actually purchased. So it was like I was walking through, girl, you've been through hell and back many times before. It's going to be all right. God got you. So put on the full armor of God looks different. Some days it looks like me journaling all the emotions. Some days it looks like me going into my community and speaking the truth and being vulnerable, being open, knowing that nobody can hurt me with this information that I'm giving. And let me tell you something else my mentor told me that I'm going to give to you. She teaches us to be vulnerable and not naked. Because what happens is we go and get naked in front of the wrong people. We tell them all these things about us, and then they use it against you, and you're really upset. And you're like, wow, oh my God, they betrayed me. And you got to have discernment about who it is that you give all of you to. You understand what I'm saying? You have to recognize things like that take time. Who you get naked in front of takes time. Okay, so take your time. Take your time with people. Okay. And so, you can have here's the thing too. You can love your life and still feel like you're figuring it out. Because there's parts of my life that I actually love, honey. I love doing this. That's why I was like, I'm not gonna miss another week. I'm gonna come talk to my people. I'm gonna let them know what I'm going through as I'm still building this retreat. And I have 3 seats left, by the way. I hosted my very first retreat April 30th through May 2nd, called Designed to Win, because I know I was designed to win, and I've won many times over, and I'm going to win again. I have to walk through my process. Okay. And you can have successful adult children and still miss being the center of their world. I miss sometimes when they calling on me. Now, sometimes they calling me now, child, and it's about the munchies, honey. And I be tired, like, listen here, look at here. Okay. Stop calling me about some money. And no, you can't use my credit cards anymore. And I took all the credit cards too. Okay. Because sometimes they, because they know you missed them, they can get a little, too much. Right. And you can also build a business you prayed for and still wake up wondering who you are, like without constant demand. And building this business, so I have to sit back and ask myself, who am I every stage, and ask myself some serious questions. And I'm going to tell you this, we got to start getting curious about the things that we're doing. And so when I get curious and I get to my why, I know exactly why I'm building this business. I know why God called me to speak his word. He knows that even though I'm not feeling my best, guess what I'm going to do? Get up here and do this video anyway. I'm going to tell you guys the truth. I'm going to come and speak. And that don't mean something is wrong. It means something has changed. And I think the hardest part is when you're so high achieving, you're used to solving everything. And I'm like, for me, it's like when something feels off, I'm usually able to fix it. And when it feels heavy, I can work on it. And then when it's unclear, I got a strategy. But this season, it's not like, it's like a Rubik's Cube that I can't solve, right? And so what that tells me is God is calling me to sit in it. He's saying that it's time I need to be uncomfortable for a minute. And the reason being is because my strong tail has always just relied on me to get it done. And in this season, God is calling me to say, no, my daughter, lean on me. Lean on me. You always did it in your own strength. Watch what I can do. And so this is why I'm saying it's so important for you to sit with yourself and get quiet and not listening to all these hurting people and telling you all these things and make you feel like something's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You're recalibrating and you're being called higher. And so you have to give yourself a minute to be able to think through. And I know it's hard because sometimes especially when you're an overthinker and you have anxiety, you'll just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. You don't even want to hear anybody, but you're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And it's all because you're looking for comfort. Your body right now, your nervous system is all over the place. And so you're looking for a place of comfort. That's why a lot of people sex it away, drink it away, smoke it away, salon song, right? Like it's a really real thing. And it's because they're looking for relief and comfort. And instead of looking for relief and comfort by jumping in the bed with another man or getting online and going to do all these other things, how about give yourself a minute to heal? It's okay. And I'm not saying don't get back out there and date, because I will, right? And I will. And at the same token, I know that instantly jumping in with somebody else is not going to help me heal. As a matter of fact, what it does is when you don't allow yourself time to process and grieve, you take the hurt or the pain from the previous relationship and you bring it right in with the new one. You think you don't, because in the beginning it feels like honeymoon stage, and then when stuff get real, you realize all that old stuff that you didn't heal from pops right back up into it. Right. And so I just really wanted to come and let you know that there's nothing wrong with you. As a matter of fact, everything is right with you. It's just a process. Recalibration. It feels like everything is being shaken up. Some days you're going to feel like the boss. Some days you're going to feel beautiful. Some days you're going to cry. Some days you're not going to feel as beautiful. Some days you're going to want to talk to a bunch of people. And if you're anything like me, a lot of days you're going to want to isolate. But this is why I intentionally and purposefully put myself in 2 different communities, so I would not allow isolation to take me over. Why do I isolate? Because again, I'm the strong one. I'm going to go and heal me. I'm going to do it by myself, right? And it's because of the level that I am at. And so, this is why it's so important to get in a community on people who are on your level. as you're going through things. You want people even above your level. That's why I love my mentor. She's doing what I want to do way above me. And I love that for myself. And this is why like it's so important to have that in your life, because when you're going through these things, right, they can help navigate you from where you are. And I'm telling you this because if you go with people who haven't been where you're trying to go and are not looking to even remotely get close to there, they're going to give you some advice that it's not going to work for you. And you're going to stay in this same place, repeating patterns over and over again, hoping for a different result. I'm telling you that from experience. Okay. And so I'm just telling y'all right now, I don't really have no clean ending for this. I don't have no 5 steps, I don't have no bow to wrap this up with. I just really want you to know that if you've been looking at your life lately and thinking like, I should be different in a different place. I should be more settled than this. I shouldn't be crying, every other day. I should, I'm crazy, this and that. You're not. You're not. And if you're exhausted and you're tired, give your body what it needs. Rest and don't quit. Rest and don't quit. Just know that you're not behind in anything. We're just adjusting to the new season of our life. And if you allow yourself this time to go through this process, and if you listen to everything I said in this video, I gave you nuggets on things that I'm doing between journaling works some days it don't. I actually have coloring books, coloring works some days it don't. I, read the word. Some days, the word does work a little bit all the time. Let me not lie about the word, okay? And I generally the Holy Spirit will give me a download of a scripture because I don't memorize scriptures like that. I just don't. And then I'll go and read it and I'll be like, thank you, Lord. I know you still love me because in the process of this, he still loves you. And I know if you're also like me, you're thinking, I'm just so tired of going through it. I'm tired, Lord. Like, when is it going to be my turn? When is it going to be my time? And then when that settles in and that happens, that's why taking that drive that I did was so good for me, because you know what? Even it's always been my time. He's always looked out for me. I was just a 322 a month welfare mother. I built how was it? My home was like almost a 5,000 square foot home with an acre and a half in the back. Do I still live there today? No. Do I even need that today? No. But that's not the point. The point is I did it. I did it. I bought my first home at 25 years old. Back then, people weren't even thinking about owning homes where I came from. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I did it, so those reminders will benefit you as you go through this, and I know you'll be like, when is it going to be my turn? Listen, it's going to keep turning. And as long as this earth keeps going around and you keep living, baby, it's going to be a up. Every time you go to the top of a mountain, you got to come down and go to the next one. But just know that the mountain gets higher and higher. So what does that mean? You get better and better. You just got to not quit in this process. Okay. And so I'm so glad that I came in and recorded today. I'm going to tell y'all, like, I was like, I'm not getting out this bed, but I'm like, yes, I am. Because I want people to know that the people that are making these videos that you think have their life all together, we're going through things too. And I want you to know that as we go through things, that there's nothing wrong with you for going through it. It will be something wrong with you if you quit on yourself in the process, though. And I said what I said. Don't quit on you. Just know that it's temporary. Rain don't last always. This snow, if you're on the East Coast, that we keep getting, is not going to last always. Spring is coming. And then after spring is going to be summer. And then after summer is going to be fall. So it's temporary. So don't you shut your life down for a temporary season, okay? So come back every Sunday, grow with me. I love you. I hope you have the most amazing, and I pray that this video helps somebody. Bye now.